Call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Education School District number 40 at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, May 28th, for Bartlett Performing Arts Center. Then roll call.
Audrey Anderson.
Here.
Chet Smith.
Here.
Mona Dixon.
Here.
Jason Farrell. Here. Lindsay Hines.
Here.
Andrew Ware. Here. Aaron Walters Smith.
Here.
Abigail Greenlee. Justin Kolarski. Here.
Not have any member participating remotely. Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Approval of the minutes. We have approval of minutes to the regular meeting of the Board of Education of May 13th, 2024. All in favor? Opposed? Carries. Then approval of the minutes of the special meeting of the Board of Education of May 22nd, 2024. All in favor? Opposed? Communications, public comment, and participation. We have one. Claudette, there you are.
Hello. Tonight, I want to ask the board to reconsider the use of the online platform Edgenuity. Edgenuity is currently being used for both credit recovery and initial credit at the high school level in the district. The reason I am bringing this up for your consideration is that Edgenuity is rife with cheating. There are several different scripts or generative AI bots that take the entire class for students. The script runs the Edgenuity program and then searches specific websites like Brainly that have almost all of the answers for the tests and quizzes. This explains why in Edgenuity reports, it shows that some students are often taking tests in 2 minutes and getting A's and B's, or filling out written assignments in 33 seconds and getting 100%. It's being done by a script or a bot. Some scripts are even being improved by allowing random timed delayed submission, registering fake keystrokes, and randomizing exam accuracy to make it less obvious that cheating has occurred. Even when Edgenuity attempts to block these scripts and AI bots, the developers reconfigure them, and they are again operational and undetectable, usually in less than a few hours. Besides scripts and bots, there are other easy ways to cheat the Edgenuity platform. Most of the Edgenuity test and quiz answer keys are available online. There are numerous Reddit communities that have both test answers and tips on how to cheat the system. Additionally, there are dozens of sites where students can pay others $20 to $25 to log in and take the entire course for them. There are discounts based on the number of courses you need to complete. Unfortunately, the use of Edgenuity with these easily available methods of cheating means we do not know which students are learning the material and acquiring important knowledge and skills for their future, and which have cheated the system. Also, Edgenuity is often not aligned with the curriculum in our existing classes. Next year, I begin my 25th year of teaching, all in the Moline-Coal Valley School District. I love this district and I love my job. As a community member, I want nothing but the best for my fellow Moline-Coal Valley residents. I want the best possible education for all our students. I also want our community to be confident that when students leave Moline High School, we have prepared them for their future to the best of our ability. I don't believe Edgenuity does this. There are numerous other better options than Edgenuity. For example, many of our online textbooks have online assignment and test components, as well as editable PDF activities that can be put on Google Classroom. This would mean that the curriculum would be better aligned to our actual classes that are being taught, something lacking with Edgenuity. These other options would better meet standards and lessen the instances of blatant cheating in which scripts, bots, or paid individuals complete the entire course in as little as an hour. Thank you.
Next is student presentation of portrait of a Moline-Coal Valley student or school district educator.
of student representatives here tonight to present our final product. They are going to take a moment and introduce themselves and explain the process that was utilized and provide for you the visual that the group came up with and next steps for this process. If you recall, last year the district engaged in a portrait of a Moline Valley School District graduate. And we had about 80 to 100 stakeholders from across our community come together to help refine what is important in our community and what are the skills that parents and staff are most, or parents are most wanting to see in their kids. And so we took the opportunity this year to replicate the process with a group of about 60 high school students. And Justin is going to kick us off, so you can just side arrow.
All right, so first of all, most of you know me, but my name is Justin. I'm a senior at Moline High School.
Current freshman.
I'm Hannah, I'm a junior.
All right, we'll get started. So as you guys all know, Portrait of a Graduate we did last year, and we wanted to take that a step further this year with Portrait of an Educator. So the process and product. So first of all, we met 5 times a school year with approximately 60 Moline High School students. We had a range of freshmen through senior, and they all came together, formed groups, and they all shared their voices and experiences. Over the course of the session, student participants developed 6 core competencies and descriptions, just like they did for Portrait of a Graduate. And they kind of described what they want to see in an excellent educator and what they believe represents a Moline Valley School District educator. And of course, by educator, we mean all adults that support students.
Okay. So the first 2 competencies that we came up with was understanding students' lives and communicating effectively. So the sub-levels in understanding students' lives were know the students by their first preferred name and how to pronounce it. Engage in meaningful conversations with students beyond small talk and try to get to know them. Take interest in students' stories, cultures, and backgrounds. Check in on students and make sure that you show care. You have to be attentive, and observant to student changes. Make up your mind about students, not what others have said about them, and is mindful of students' boundaries and personal struggles. Communicates effectively. We had listen empathetically, respond in a positive and encouraging way, even when students are struggling. Communicate in a way that guides students towards solutions. Is mindful of tone and body language. Embraces students' point of view, even when different from their own. Refrains from negative speech, ranting, complaining, and refrains from engaging in power conflicts with students.
Our third and fourth competencies, competency 3 is confident, competent, and prepared. So of course, they have to show strong knowledge of their content and also have a strong understanding of their role as a teacher. They have to be prepared for the day, and of course, you have to show that you were there to, teach and show effort. They provide advance notice of assessments and assignments so that students can practice time management while also balancing other activities like clubs as well as work. They provide reasonable time for task completion. They're always available for extra help, and they're not afraid to allow for student discussion of sensitive subjects when needed. The fourth competency we had is upbeat, positive, and relatable. So of course they have to be confident, but not condescending. They can use humor, but they have to be cautious with sarcasm. Exudes passion for their profession, and they serve, of course, as a positive role model for those that look up to them. Adapt to students' needs and work together to tackle issues. They share their experiences, life lessons, and any advice that they may have for students. They're willing to accept criticism, show no bias, and of course, provide opportunities for student voice to ask for student feedback on how class at school could be improved.
For the 5th and 6th competencies that we came up with is passionate and creative, and is timely and fair. For passionate and creative, we want educators to use multiple dynamic teaching methods and adapt their teaching based on students' different needs. Connecting learning to the real world, creates ways for students to engage with each other in class through seating and grouping, chooses learning tasks that are interesting, interactive, engaging, and allows for choice, allows for alternative pathways to success, allows for both collaborative and quiet independent work time in class, and makes the classroom comfortable and approachable, such as adding music as the background. And to be timely and fair, providing constructive feedback, timely grading, response to students' emails promptly. providing consistent grading practices across the grade level or department. Open to redos, test corrections, extra credit, or other flexible learning methods, and utilizing pre-test study guides, practice assessments, and giving students the chance to learn from their mistakes. And also flexible and reasonable workload outside of class, being mindful of students' full responsibilities like after-school clubs, sports, work, and family.
So this is the final version of the visual that we came up with. The two things that we really wanted to prioritize is a visual that represents how we view our educators and how we feel our educators want us to view them. Every student in the school district views every educator as a role model, and so that's why we believe this is very suiting. And yeah. Finally, of course, we're presenting to the Board of Education tonight, but some more students that were part of this project will present to administrators in August, and then in the fall, we will present to staff and parents about the full kind of project and what we've come up with. Are there any questions?
Good job.
Yes.
This just has the picture of the full group of students that were going through the process. Any more questions or feedback from students?
I mean, I think it was great. You guys really fleshed out like what you really intended. Educators. That's fantastic. Appreciate your work.
I have a quick question. So do we survey students in the district like we do, like with the 5 essential student survey? And
Yes.
is there something we could kind of incorporate feedback from this into that survey so we can measure success?
I think that's a great suggestion. I think next year, a number of returning students would like to continue on with the work and figuring out how to maximize this moving forward. I think that's a great idea. Students do take the 5 essential survey, and we're hoping to get that data back by the end of this week. But I think that's a great idea to incorporate that as well.
All right, next up is presentation on the square footage test for the Lincoln Urban Expansion. Michelle?
Good evening, everyone. I would first just like to thank everybody who's involved in this process. I know it was very time consuming and there was just a lot that went into this. I'd also like to give a special thanks to our partners, Leggett and Russell, to help us come up with some of these preliminary thoughts and budget items. So I'd like to introduce Robin from Leggett. She'll be walking us through everything that we did on this first phase.
I don't know if that's set to present, is it?
Yep, she's.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. My name is Robin Randall. I'm the Director of Learning at Leggett Architects, and we've been working with a group here to really understand what is the potential of the Lincoln Urban site. And I have to say, when we first started, we weren't sure if it was going to fit all in so it is a challenging site. So what I'm going to walk you through are the existing site challenging, the programming requirements, maximizing the area of the addition, maximizing the budget, the community engagement process that will be in the next steps, and then walking you through the next steps. So as Vince and others have said, you know, the site is challenging. And so the first step that we took was to look at the existing site, which is to the left. It's almost 4 acres. It is confined by 2 one-way streets on either side, and then 2 two-way streets. And the 16th Avenue is a fairly busy street. So we just wanted to take a look at that and see what the potentials are for that site. And our gauge, you know, our measuring stick is really the Hamilton project. And to understand, it's been a very successful project, and we wanted to model it after that. And just to test fit using the components of the Hamilton project. So the existing site for Hamilton is 5.5 acres. So you can already see that the site is tighter, and then you can understand why we needed to do a test fit to see if the project would even work on the site. So part of the analysis, and we generated quite a bit of data around this, right? We were collecting facts. So we took the existing Lincoln Irving School, which is a little over 45,000 square feet, and we analyzed how it's being currently used in terms of the number of classrooms, how the multi-purpose spaces we're using, the gymnasium, the different levels that exist, and really to understand how the existing building is. We also understood that the mechanical system had just recently been updated. And that investment is really important to us, right? To make sure that we're going to be able to reuse that mechanical system. And that is the case in the test fit. So good news, right? That the investment that's already been made into the school can be reused. And then again, in terms of reference, these are the same scale. And the Hamilton project is about twice the square footage of the existing Lincoln Irving. So that's the comparison that we wanted you to see with these two drawings. You can also see that there's a brand new gymnasium as part of the Hamilton structure, but I also wanted to point out that Hamilton was designed about 10 years ago, and there was not a requirement for a storm shelter at that point. But the state has adopted the new code, and there is a requirement for a storm shelter now. So that is a main difference between the two projects. So now we're going to dive into program requirements, and there's a whole list of square footages, but what we want to emphasize is why we're needing a program is we want to understand what spaces can be multi-use. We're going to talk about a storm shelter, but that storm shelter is also the gymnasium. So that's one of those cost-saving program elements that can be used for more than one or two things, right? So we're trying to maximize it. We're also trying to create those fun student spaces that are activated and in the Hamilton project. So we're looking for that student engagement spaces. So we created a list of spaces, and this is just for the general curriculum that you're seeing on the screen. There's 6 or 8 pages, but I didn't want to bore you with all of the spaces. But the critical thing that's important in terms of the test fit is that we know we need a 4-section school. And what that means is 4 classes for kindergarten, 1st grade. All of the grades need 4 classrooms. And one of the things that was non-negotiable and a must-have was to have toilet facilities for each of the classrooms or shared between 2 of the classrooms. And that is a standard that was set with Hamilton, saves time for instruction. It's really important to have that handy so that we can focus on learning and not lining up and going to the restroom and lining back and going back, because that takes a lot of time out of the instructional day. So this is just a summary in terms of the square footages for the classrooms. It's very equitable between the new facility and the Hamilton Elementary facility. And as I said, we're doubling the size, right? So we're actually doubling the number of classrooms too. So the summary page really tells you the story. So the Hamilton project is a little over, well, it's quite a bit over 85,000 square feet, right? It's 85,619 square feet. That's the total, right? The test fit that I'm going to share with you, the total is 88,000 square feet. So it's a little bit more, and the reason is the storm shelter. Because there's a mechanical system that has to be separate for the storm shelter. There's toileting that has to be separate for the storm shelter. There's all of the services. Basically what a storm shelter is, it's a fully intact environment that the entire population of the school can exist in for, I think it's 24 hours, but it's access, so it has to have an independent system, right? So that potentially the rest of the school is no longer exists, only the storm shelter is there. So we're trying to create a safe haven for the students that would attend this school. So that's the extra square footage that is needed.
And you can also see the existing number is the 45,000, so we're gonna be building a little bit more than that. But the important thing now, right, we've got the number of square footage, which is 88,000 square feet, right? Now we need to see if we can afford it, right? So what we did with our partners with Russell, they understood how much the existing square foot was, which is gonna be renovated, right? And then how much the addition needed to be. So they could quantify what the approximate pre-construction budget would need to be. So on the left is the bricks and mortar. Those are all of the things needed to build the building and renovate the building. On the right are all the things that are needed to support that. So the survey, the construction testing, all of the things that happen as you're building a project. And that total is just a little under 33 million or 34 million. It's if you round up, we're at 33.9, right? So if you round up, it's 34 million. And that's really good news because the next bond cycle, if we're under 35 million, we don't have to ask for any increase in taxes. So isn't that exciting? So that's the exciting news here that we want to deliver. So we are well under that budget currently. So good news, and thank you to Russell for preparing that information. So this is what the test fit looks like currently. It is not a design, it is purely an area tested on the site with all of the components needed for the site. So you can see drop off, you can see parking, you can see fields and playgrounds and hard surface play. You can see a service drive and bus drop off, and you can see the gray outline of the existing building, the extent of that all being reused, and then the extent of a potential addition with that storm shelter dashed in, so you can see that gymnasium kind of shape. So that's the extent. It truly is a test fit. There's been not been a design process, and that's what I want to talk about next, is what we want to do in order to move forward. So our collaborative design process includes the community, the staff, the teachers, the students, all the people that are going to be involved in this project. We want to bring them to the table, and we want to make this a fun and exciting exercise, but we really want to listen to what the potential is, right? So we've talked about the research and the programming phase. We've done a little bit of that, right? And then we're ready to dive into this conceptual design process. And you can see some students actually working a conceptual design process there in the center. So we want to hear from everyone. And the important thing about community engagement is to be the best listeners in the room, really hear the voices. We know that there are extroverts in the room that have plenty to share, but there's also introverts in the room that we want to make sure have a voice, and we can listen to them and understand what is what's desired and what's the future, right? And then understanding, we're going to build smaller groups, get feedback from the smaller groups, and then report back into the larger groups. I don't know if any of you were a part of the Hamilton collaborative design process, but it was very engaging, and it really built consensus along the way. These are some of the questions that we're hoping to answer along the way. How has learning changed since Hamilton? Again, it's been 10 years, right? And what do we need to plan for that change? So we're going to talk about what the adjacencies need to happen, where things need to go, how do things function within that test fit, right? During this process, the administration came up with 4 themes that we really want to focus on as we move forward. And they'll be that guiding light, that North Star as we move forward. And they are cultural, the history of supporting our diverse community. We know that we're a melting pot, and we want to express that in the architecture so that everyone feels welcome. And then flexibility. We know that spaces, I've already talked about those multi-use spaces,
finding ways that spaces can be fluid and easy to change, large spaces divisible and smaller spaces. And also we want them to be seamless so that you don't walk into the building and know where the old parts are and where the new parts are. We want equity in the entire structure. We want that to be seamless. We think that has happened in the Hamilton project, but we want that, more importantly, we want it to happen here as we move forward, because we know that there's a larger square footage of existing, and we want to make that feel new and fresh and inviting. We want the project to be visionary, to plan for the future and adaptable to what is next in education and for our district. And then lastly, which also could be first, really, right, is the exciting part, is we want it to be affordable, right? So being fiscally responsible, right? A practical vision, connection with that yields instructional benefits so that every decision is about the student and how the education process is going to be improved, and just to be responsible with the design process. This is what it looks like. It's a lot of fun, right? You get to play architect. You got to move the puzzle pieces around, right? I talked about that long list of program pieces. We're gonna create those spaces so that they're blocks, building blocks, and then you're gonna have the site in front of you and you'll be able to play back and forth. How does this fit? What works? What's the priority? And what's nice about this process also is it really builds consensus. Because when you're reporting back your idea to the larger group, they'll go, oh, I like that piece. I want to try that next time, right? So there's an opportunity to learn from each other. And it's a really fun dynamic. So in conclusion, I just wanted to share what the proposed schedule is for next steps. Obviously, today is the update for the test fit. And then we're hoping in the fall to start the community engagement process. And once we're back from summer break, and identify those dates that are convenient so that we'll maximize the attendance for those. And then starting in January, we'll start the schematic design process, going all the way through construction, potentially could begin as early as June 2026. With hopeful occupancy in August, but we're planning just in case for the next year, just in case there's any problems with the site or in terms of construction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any questions?
When we're part of the working on the design, are we going to include Hamilton teachers and staff about what worked and what didn't? Because design is great and all, but when you're in the space and you're teaching, there's practicalness, and so I would really love to make sure their feedback is in there from the what works, what doesn't work.
That's a great idea.
Is there a committee formed yet?
No,
Okay,
we'll do that in fall.
okay. Can we send the committee members to the, just so we know who they are?
Absolutely.
Another question is a tight fit, right?
It is.
So if something goes horribly wrong, how much of a cushion do we have in that tight space? Just in case.
So we've already done some preliminary planning with the geotech survey. They've already, we've already had that in the works, so we know that this section that we placed it'll work.
It'll work.
Yeah, we already done all the soil testing and everything on there. So that was one of the big concerns, as well as the traffic study. So those two things have been done. So we have all of that, because we knew that was going to play a big part in how we laid this out. On the
Part of
site.
the data that was needed in order to make sure that the test fit could work. And then utilities and sites were surveyed too, so that we know where the utilities are. And like I said, we're using the mechanical system was one of the criteria too.
And that's, does that $34 million price tag include contingencies, especially with?
Yes.
It does.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for that.
And they kind of pre-planned in a certain percentage increase from today's numbers to that number, so that's already planned in.
So I know, looking, you said you did the traffic study stuff already, I know that's always a concern in middle schools. And just, I wanna make sure I'm not going crazy, are the one-ways switched in this design?
Yeah, in ours.
Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Yes, that's the proposal,
So
to
to
flip it in order to make the drop off work.
that looks fabulous, but it was one of those things that I know every time
I just thought it was a mistake.
And
the city's okay with that.
Yep, they were part of the whole
Awesome.
traffic
Okay.
study, so.
No, that looks like, in terms of the flow off of, Fulton, I mean, not the, I think stuff, that makes a lot more sense.
Making them through will help a lot.
Yes, exactly. Looks amazing.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
I promised that I would. Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.
Right. Thank you again. Consent agenda. Seven, recommend motion that the Board of Education approve the actions contained in the consent agenda as presented. I have a motion. Discussion?
I just have a couple of questions. When the employee benefits consultant, just a little bit more history as a new board member, when like this person or consultant helps us do what negotiate benefits for the packets that we purchase, like Blue Cross Blue Shield or.
Yeah, so he works in conjunction with Blue Cross Blue Shield to work on our plan benefits, what we can do to save money, all of the above, when dealing with our insurance, renewals and everything like that, so.
I kind of thought that. The updated science textbooks. I know we purchased some textbooks earlier this year. So what does that timeline look like? Do we have a point in time within the school year that we just purchase textbooks, or, because at the end of the year, I'm just thinking, do teachers have time to get familiar with that textbook before they're teaching the
So,
material to
so
students?
the AP biology and biology are online. The AP biology also has that new edition. So they've been familiar and playing with it this year, the biology part. They used, went away from, came back to, so we're just going to work on that's, we're going to decide if that's just the way students are going to go, the next action and everything. The environmental science, that's one teacher, and that we piloted through that teacher, so they're already familiar with.
And that's all the questions. Thanks, Ron. All right, roll call please.
Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter-Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Addison.
Aye.
Jetta Smith.
Aye.
Mona Dixon.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye. All right, great. Approval of updated board policy for section 2 Board of Education. Recommendation motion that the Board of Education accepts for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy 240, board member qualifications, 260, board member removal from office, 2140, communications to and from the board, and 2265 title, was that number 9, grievance procedure as presented.
I would like to make a second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second readings.
Discussion? Roll call.
Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter-Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Addison.
Aye.
Jetta Smith. Mona Dixon.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. Andrew Ware.
Aye. Next is approval of updated board policy 2260, uniform grievance procedure. Recommended motion that the Board of Education accepts for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy 2260, uniform grievance procedure as presented.
I'd like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and the second reading.
Discussion? Roll call.
Aaron Walter Smith,
Aye.
Audrey Adamson,
Aye.
Chad Smith.
Aye.
Mona Dixon.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Andrew Whitman.
Aye. Approval of updated board policy 2270, discrimination and harassment on the basis of race, color, and national origin prohibited. Recommended motion that the Board of Education accept for the first reading revised Board of Education policy 2270, discrimination and harassment on the basis of race, color, and national origin prohibited. As presented.
So moved. I would like to waive the second reading, first reading, second reading, first and second.
So he moved it first. So we, so that motion's gonna die for like a second.
Second.
Oh, you're gonna second it?
I'll second that to do because it's a new policy. I think we should get rid
You're right. Okay. Discussion.
It's a new policy,
Thank you.
as listed here, so I think it should be one that we take time to make sure we. I agree. So bring it back. Yes.
All right. Any more discussion?
I just have a quick question. I'm assuming we already have a procedural process in place if there is a complaint or everything. When is it?
All right, roll call. Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Chad Smith.
Aye.
Mona Dixon.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Hi.
Andrew Whitman.
Aye. All right. Number 11, approval of updated board policy 660, curriculum content. Recommended motion is that the Board of Education accept the first reading of revised Board of Education policy 660, curriculum content as presented.
I'd like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and second reading.
Second.
Discussion. Roll call please.
Chad Smith.
Aye.
Mona Dixon.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Hi.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Andrew Whitman.
Aye. All right. The 12, approval of updated board policy 6185, remote educational programs. Recommended motion that the Board of Education accepts for the first reading the revised Board of Education policy 6185, remote education program as presented.
I would like to waive the second reading and allow the first reading to stand for both the first and the second.
Second.
Discussion?
I have just a question real quick. So for that one, is that like is that the remote policy for like weather days, or is this a separate, this is something different?
No, this is for students, so we have, that's, those are for e-learning.
Right,
That's
okay,
for
sounded different, I just want to make
Yeah,
sure it
yeah,
wasn't.
this is for students who would end up requiring it as an educational.
You say that, like, there's nothing in there.
Like homebound instruction or something like that.
Not contributing. This is different from contributing. That we just worked out.
In the engineering program, we use engineering for homebound students or some homebound students, others we have tutors who are available just depending upon what their needs are.
So we just have an AP that we operate with locally to support the board policy.
Right, we have several documents that we use to, if the students coming in, so it depends on where they're going to homebound, Inspire.
But we don't have a real remote learning education program here in Moline.
Like in the
Yes.
sense,
Correct. I think you're referring to, can a student choose that as their full educational program?
They can only get so many credits, just like campus, like off or whatever, you know, come into Moline, X number of credits, so we don't offer teachers that have that full work.
We don't have teachers.
Okay. Any more?
I'm sorry.
No. All right, roll call.
Ramona Dixon.
Sorry, I forgot what we were voting. Are we going to do the motion or?
We're already in motion, we're voting on the
Yeah.
policy.
We're voting on the policy being updated.
Yes.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. David Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Chet Smith.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye. All right, number 13, approval of addendum to employment contract dean of students. Recommend motion that the Board of Education approve an addendum to the employment contract for the incoming dean of students at John Deere Middle School, Nicole Whitehair, to include the attendance and all costs associated with 3 days of courageous principles training from June 7th, 2024 to June 9th, 2024. Discussion?
So we have two new administrators this year that have the opportunity to join a group of current administrators to attend this training next week. And so we wanted to make sure that they were protected because their employment technically won't start until August and some July. And so we want to make sure that they're covered just liability as they're attending this training with some of our current employees. And that works out to be able to enter. Scoop them up.
Kudos to you guys for doing it, for the great way to start.
Thank you.
That's really proactive.
To be able to go with the peers that are currently attending, will be able to provide additional value as well in terms of relationship and onboarding.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Jason Farrell. Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Chet Smith.
Aye.
Mona Nixon.
Aye.
Andrew Ware.
Aye. All right, approval of addendum to employment contract, assistant superintendent for student services and special education. Recommended motions that the Board of Education approve the addendum to the special approve an addendum to the employment contract for the incoming assistant superintendent for student services and special education, Aaron Terstrup, to include the attendance and all costs associated with 3 days of courageous principles training from June 7th, 2024 to June 9th, 2024.
Second.
Discussion? Call please.
Lindsay Hines.
Aye.
Aaron Walter Smith.
Aye.
Audrey Adamson.
Aye.
Chet Smith.
Aye.
Mona Nixon.
Aye.
Jason Farrell. Andrew Ware.
Aye. All right, reports, requests, and open discussion. I just want to put on your calendars, board members, that July 22nd, we're going to be doing some board development with the IASB. So kind of board norms and actions and roles and responsibilities. We'll be coming up. We did that prior. Before this, yeah, before this board season, we did that. And it's a good time to do that again. So we're doing that July 22nd after the regular board meeting. I've asked Dr. Savage to make sure that that agenda is fairly light, so we can kind of jump right into it. All right.
We can do that.
Now, student board report. But I thought we wanted to. Okay, let's do the students first.
There you go. Is that corner still in credit for your company?
Okay, I just wanted to give a quick presentation, of course, my last presentation as president of MHS History Club. But I wanted to show you all the vision for the next coming years. So first of all, the sculpture that I mentioned earlier in the year, it is being funded by the senior class of 2024. So through Student Congress, this is going to be the senior gift, and it's going to be the development of the sculpture of Charles Carpenter by David Zahn, who first built the original sculpture. And the senior gift tradition originally it died down, but this is going to be the first kind of senior gift, and then we are going to start incorporating senior gifts every year. So I think next year is going to be the development of the kind of front here with the sign above the front entrance. So that will be something to look out for the future. And then the other thing I wanted to talk about is that work begins this summer. So we did get in contact with Heritage and we do have a payment plan set up. So right now we're planning on for like having a down payment of $5,000 this year, and then we estimate around $2,500 every year for the coming years, around 6 years to kind of cover the cost of the project. This last weekend, I'm not in the picture, but we actually tore down the old broken down gazebo, so we just tore that down and with the sledgehammer, some stuff. But so yeah, it'll be an outdoor seating area, and there will be a lot of cool things that teachers and students can do with this area. So Heritage will begin work on that this summer, and hopefully both of these projects will be done by the end of the school year, or by the start of the school year. That is all.
Yeah, I am so excited to be almost done with school. I know everyone is ready to be done. Everyone's finally almost done with tests. I think all of our spring sports did really well this year. I know boys tennis actually brought home the W in sectionals, so I'm very proud of them for that. And I think everyone is ready to wrap up and be done, so. Well said.
All right. Accept.
Okay, thank you. As Abby so eloquently said, we have 8 days of school. And I think it's safe to say, just like she did, that the staff and students will certainly be happy to see the official school year complete. As a reminder, we have graduation on Saturday, where we get to honor Justin and a few 500 of his closest friends, to congratulate the class of 2024. Hopefully you have at your station, if you RSVP to attend commencement, you've got a packet with some information about where to park and where you might not want to park, and where to enter the building and so on and so forth. So if you have any questions about that, please let us know. For those students and staff that are interested in keeping the fun ongoing, we have a number of summer school opportunities for a lot of different kids this summer. I printed out a spreadsheet that Matt and Kristen's department had put together, just so you can have an idea of the different types of summer school programming that we have offered this summer. We have a lot of great partners from Spring Forward and from various locations like Boys and Girls Club, Skip Along, Springbrook, Two Rivers YMCA. We've got Lights On for Learning programs. We've got credit recovery at the middle school and high school level. We have extended school year for students that qualify. So just a lot of different programs to keep the learning ongoing for a large group of students in our community. So that's just a little schedule of those offerings. Regarding construction projects this summer, we have 2 major projects that the district will be focusing on, apart from our normal summer maintenance and upkeep. The first one will be security upgrades to the front entrance of Moline High School. Currently, a visitor gets buzzed in based on line of sight of the security personnel stationed inside the front doors in the hallway, and is then asked to present ID or state the nature of their visit. This summer, new doors will be installed in the front of the school, as well as the secondary set of interior doors as well. A bay teller style window will be cut into the wall inside the 2 sets of doors. This will allow the visitor to be buzzed in based on line of sight from the security personnel, but then halted before they are cleared to go through the second set of doors. This will allow a secondary level of vetting before the visitor has full access to the building. So this has been a project a long time coming. We were awaiting different grants and pulling together funding. So we're happy that the HVAC projects are largely over. We're able to focus on some of these other safety upgrades. So that's one project. The second one will focus on significant upgrades to the welding room at Moline High School. Renovations include a complete reconfiguration of the student individual welding booths, ventilation upgrades, reconfiguration of the teacher welding station, an installation of the robotic welder. So we're really excited to be able to get this work finished as well, to be able to significantly augment the learning experience for those students. And then the last thing that I have is just a couple of special recognitions. So first of all, Justin, could I ask you to come forward? So, Justin, on behalf of myself, district administration, and the Board of Education, we are so proud of you and so grateful for your service to the Board of Education. We want to congratulate you on your graduation and for the service and service above self that you really exhibited and modeled for your peers to serve on the school board in this capacity. So congratulations and thank you for your service. Very good. Any speech, any final remarks? Anything?
I just want to say it's been an honor to be a part of this board. I'm happy to have, kind of helped and kind of voiced the opinions of some of my peers, and it's been cool to see this entire process. And yeah, I'm just very happy that I had this experience, and I'm very glad. I'm just very glad. I'm very glad.
And we're very glad too.
Thank you for your service to the board. I'm not gonna be there on Saturday, but really, it's been an honor to have you on this board. And really am looking forward to seeing all the exciting things that you do, because I know this isn't the last one here. So we're really, I mean, I speak for the entire board, we're really impressed. Making it a strong sport, how you represent it. Thank you.
And Abby, you will be the experienced student board member moving forward. So we're happy to have you and look forward to finding another student that will be able to sit in Justin's spot as well. One more special recognition that we would like to do tonight, even though we don't have to, but we thought it would be really nice to recognize an additional person along with Justin, and that would be Miss Kristen Sanders. If you could please come forward. Let's give her some encouragement. This is not a license to not come to the June board meeting. Okay, got on my calendar. Very good. We just want to take a moment and recognize you in front of your colleagues and the Board of Education, and along with Justin, to thank you for your service to the school district, but in particular, your service to the Board of Education as board secretary for so many years. And so just to kind of let you know how we think about you, I'd like to kick things off. And I'd like to say that your name, Kristen K, is for kind-hearted and knowledgeable.
R is for resourceful and reliable.
I is for instinctual and innovative.
S is for skilled and spirited.
I know what that
T is for trustworthy and a true team player.
I is for impactful and
N is for non-judgmental and noble-hearted.
Congratulations. Distinguished administrator.
All right, Kristen, I want to say too, thank you. I mean, you were the first one that I think when Aaron and I got elected, I think probably for the rest of you too, that we talked to about coming on to the school board. And you never steered us wrong. You always pointed us in the right direction. Gave us great advice and very direct advice sometimes.
What calm and that's what I like to see, calm and steady and talking people cut me off the list. Happy to do so.
So we really appreciate everything you've done for us.
It's been my honor.
All right, now, financial report.
So just really quickly, right now, we are at 65% of revenues realized and 70% of expenditures realized. Again, like I said in the last financial report, the reason why expenditures are overstated over revenues is because we're still waiting on our June tax payment. So once that comes in, that'll realign those revenues and expenses. So, thank you.
All right, adjourned. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.